Yes, this is Kirk Reeder, and I'm here to talk to you kids about the importance of a few things that I was raised on and that I try and convey to my two daughters that are growing up. The first is obviously my mom was a school teacher, and so before I got to do anything sports-wise, she always made my brother and myself have good grades and make sure that we were doing all of our homework, classwork, and staying up with that first before we could do anything else outside of the classroom. So I'm here to tell you that sports is great. It was wonderful for me, but I always knew that if something didn't go right with sports, because there's so many unpredictable things that can happen. You can get hurt, you can have bad times, because sports can humble you in a hurry. So, but if you have your education, you can always fall back on that. And that's what I was brought up on, and that's what I definitely convey to my daughters, that get your education first, and then whatever else happens, if it is sports or if it's something else, that will be good too. But you want to have that education first. And obviously for me, to get to where I am, another thing that I'm very passionate about is drugs and alcohol, trying to get kids at young ages to know to stay away from them, and that you definitely have choices. And I was put in a bunch of situations from high school, college, and definitely in Major League Baseball, where I had to make choices to go out or stay home, and I knew that they were going to be doing stuff that I wasn't comfortable doing as far as alcohol or drugs. So I made the choice to stay home and stay away from that. And if you do want to go out, and I know even today in high school, when you get in high school, college, if you want to go out and you have friends, that still doesn't mean you have to go along with what they're doing. And there was a bunch of situations where if I did go out, you just say no. And I know that's kind of a cliche that you've heard that a lot, but that's the easiest thing. And I will tell you, you get a lot of respect. It's easy to go along, and that's what I try and tell kids when I talk to them. It's easy to go along with the crowd when everybody's doing it, but it takes a pretty special person to stand up and say, hey, you know what? No, that's not what I do. I'm not going to do that. And believe me, when everybody wakes up the next day or 2 days from now, you'll have a lot more respect than if you go along with the crowd, because you stood up and for what you believe in. And I'm telling you, that's the best way to go, because you don't know the damage that drugs and alcohol can do to your body. And I was raised that way, and like I said, I believe in that, and that's the way I've tried to live my life, and hopefully you guys will do that too. And for all you kids that I know, like I said, I'm a big sports guy. Obviously, I still watch sports. I help kids at the baseball complex over in Centralia. But just to go and play and have fun, that's the main point. And then let everything else happen as it goes. And a lot of times I have to talk to the parents, because I think the parents, get a little more involved even than when I was growing up. And for me, just let your kids play, let the kids have fun, and enjoy the sport first, and then the scholarships will come if they're good enough. The one advice that my dad always gave me was, if you're good enough, they'll find you, because people are always like, oh my gosh, he's over there in Little Hoyleton, Illinois, that has 400 people. They'll never find him. And that was 30 years ago, and they found me. And so I think if you are good enough, and especially the way today is, as much as social media is out there, people will find you, and then you just go have fun, and you can get your scholarships or whatever you do, but do it for the right reasons. And I know when I was growing, I went to Murray State and got fortunate, because I wasn't a big recruit coming out of high school. I was actually going to go to SIU Edwardsville. And at the last minute, my Legion coach had played at Murray State, and he said, hey, I think you're missing on this kid. And Coach Reagan came down and watched me pitch a game, and thankfully he thought I was good enough to go to Murray State. And from there, it all worked out. But that's how things can change, and so you never know. And and I just want the kids, especially when they're grade school, high school, enjoy whatever sport you're in, and don't put that pressure, because I don't even think I heard the word scholarship when I was growing up until like I was a senior in high school. And I know a lot of these kids are having to hear that when they're fifth grade, sixth grade. Oh my gosh, I got to put you on all these different teams to go travel all over the place so you can get seen. And if you enjoy that, is what I tell people. If you enjoy doing that and your son or daughter enjoys doing that, then I'm all for it. Go do it, and you have the means to do it, afford to travel and do that, then by all means go ahead and do it and enjoy the summers. But don't put like, oh my gosh, if they play, that this is going to get them a scholarship. But because you can do that by any place you're at. If people see you, or you get your videos out, or they watch you play, even in small towns of Pinckneyville, Nashville, Oakville, wherever that may be, if you're good enough and they think, oh my gosh, he or she can play, they'll still come and find you, and you don't have to put everything, or you don't have to feel like you're missing out. So that would be my advice, and especially to the parents. I'm big. I've coached, helped coach my two daughters, and I'm probably way harder on them than I am when I'm coaching them. But when I'm just a fan and I'm sitting there, I won't say a word. I just let them play, enjoy the game. If they want to talk to me afterwards, they can come and we'll talk about the game. But just enjoy your kids and let them grow. And then if something happens down the line, that's all the better. My mom was a third and fourth grade school teacher, so my brother and I always had to, like I said, adhere to everything she had going on in classrooms, and we were brought up to listen and respect the elders and our teachers and coaches and the people that were trying to help us, and not talk back, and because I don't think there's too many coaches or teachers or people, in leadership positions that are actually trying to hurt our kids. They're always trying to help, or else they wouldn't be in that situation anyway. And that's the way we were brought up, to listen and try and apply what they were saying to get us and advance us in life. And I think most of my coaches, my favorite was obviously probably Coach Reagan, because at that point in my life at Murray State, when I went down there, I was like an 18-year-old, I'd never been away from home, and I always thought of him as like my second father, because he kind of took me under his wing, and when I was down at Murray, taught me the stuff that I was taking on. I mean, obviously my dad had a huge influence and raised us the right way, but at that point in my life, he kind of was taking me to that next step of becoming a man, and so when I went to the minor leagues, when I was, 22 years old, I felt like I was ready, even though I was coming from a small town, that I had taken all those lessons from obviously my mom and dad, but then all the coaches and teachers that I had had over the years, and I was able to make the right choices because in my mind, I knew right from wrong just from listening to them all the time, and that was one thing my dad always said, there's always going to come a time where you're going to be put in situations where I'm not going to be there, a coach isn't going to be there, and all I can do is give you all the information to be able to make the correct choice. And so that's what he was trying to tell me. And like I said, I came into those situations a few times over the years and would always look back, and I did. Whoever was telling me all this stuff, like I said, and I think that's part of listening and being coachable or being attentive in a classroom, is you might not even think you're getting it or paying attention, but if you're really listening and wanting to learn and wanting to do good, it will be in your mind, and when that time comes, when they're not around in your ear, you will make the right choice. And like I said, that's what I'm thankful for all the people that helped me along the way, is they gave me that info, and when that time came, like my dad said, I was able to apply it and make the correct choice. I always tell kids, and it's sports related, because my dad would always tell us that would always tell my brother and I the same thing, because I think especially today with the way social media is, there's so much you can put on, and I always kid my kids that they'll say, oh my gosh, I don't know if such and such lost or won yet. I'm looking on social media and there's nothing posted yet. And I'll ask them, when was the game? And if they say the game was, 2 hours or 3 hours or 4, it was in the morning, I'll say, if there's nothing on there, they lost. I said, because that's one of my pet peeves. I said, everybody can look good on social media, because I said, and I don't do a lot of social media just for that, because I said, when I see people start putting on there, Johnny went 0 for 8 instead of 7 for 8, or Tiffany went, 7 for, or 0 for 5, because I think they put all the stuff that they want to put. And my dad always told me, and like I said, the best advice if I was given was never get too high and never get too low. Because in sports, it can humble you in a hurry if you start thinking you got it all figured out. And you're never as good as what people are telling you when you're doing sports. But when you're bad at sports, which will happen because that's the way sports is, you're never as bad either. And so Dad would always tell us, just stay in the middle, and you'll live a good life. And I try and take that over to, like I said, not just sports, just life in general. I don't get too high or too low. I try and stay on that even keel and always be happy. And the best thing that one of my managers, Dusty Baker, ever told me was at the major league level is he said the best thing about him is when he comes in the day after he pitches, he goes, you would not know if he won the game the night before or lost. He said he's the same guy. He goes, he comes in laughing, smiling, and he goes, he could win a game 1-0, or he could have got beat, 15-2. And he goes, you would not know by the way he comes into the clubhouse. And to me, that's what I always tried to convey, because I knew that, I could do good at sports, but eventually it's going to bring you back down. So you have to find that happy medium and stay there. And the same thing applies to life.
I'm Shay Pyatt. I go to Peatneyville District 50 Junior High, 14. I play softball for the Bombers and the District 50. I play first base and pitch, left-handed, just like you.
Perfect.
I have a little brother, Minor. He's in 3rd grade. He's 9, and he plays baseball. My hobbies are I do 4-H, play softball outside of school, and I like to swim and skateboard.
Perfect. And I am Kirk Reeder, former Major League pitcher with the Montreal Expos, who are now the Washington Nationals, and also the San Francisco Giants, who I spent my last 10 years in Major League Baseball. I have a daughter that's at McKendree University. I have a junior in high school. Hope is my oldest daughter. Hallie is the youngest daughter. Wife is Carla. We've been married, well, I better not say that on air. It's going to be 25 years coming up. So, and we live just down the road in Nashville, came back and after I retired, and so just enjoy being back in Southern Illinois.
I have a few questions for you. What was it like the experience and the pressure of being from a small town person going up to the major leagues?
It was something that I had done my whole life as far as pitching and playing. Now, obviously, getting adjusted to the bigger crowds the first few times was a little nerve-wracking. But as far as just playing the sport, once you get to the 60 feet 6 inches of pitching, that distance, it's the same distance anywhere you go, just like softball for you pitching. It wouldn't matter if you're pitching in front of 50,000 people or 50 people. The game's still the same, and that's the way I kind of took it, and I think it alleviated some of that pressure. But obviously the first few times that I was we always called it double-decker stadiums. When I got in those stadiums, obviously the butterflies and the nerves kind of kicked in, but after you do it for a while, it's still the same game, so I adjusted.
In your opinion, who was the hardest to pitch against?
For me, I didn't throw. I mean, I don't know. You might throw hard and just blow people
Yeah.
away, but but I was more finesse and had to hit my spots and make them, hit to my defense. And the guy that, now I'm getting old, but the guy that was one of the best hitters in any generation, Tony Gwynn, was the hardest guy for me because I could throw pitches into him and he would pull them, and if I threw it away to him, he would hit it the other way, and he didn't really have a weakness. So the one time I think I did get him out, he was 3 for 3, which is a funny story. My catcher finally told me, "Hey, you've thrown it in, away, up." He goes, "Just throw one down the middle and see what happens." And he actually popped it up on the infield. So he probably wasn't expecting it down the middle, so it worked.
Why did you move back home?
My wife was from here. Carla grew up here. We went to high school together at Nashville, and all of our family was still around here. So every off season, we would always come back home once the baseball season ended, and it was just natural for us. I mean, this is where we always wanted to raise our kids once we retired, and so we got our fill of going to all the cities. Obviously, with playing in the major leagues, I was able to go to places that I probably in my wildest dreams would have never thought that I would go to when I was a kid. But so that kind of took that fix for us, and we're still able to go. I mean, we go back out to San Francisco a lot, but as far as just living and raising a family, this was always where we wanted to be, and this was home for me and for Carla. So there was never a question of where we were going to go.
Did you have responsibilities you had to feel like you had to fill when you were up there playing baseball?
Well, it's definitely more of a job. I mean, up at that level, because I did get sent down, a couple times, and you realize that it can start taking that love of the game away. Where like at your age or when I was growing up here in Southern Illinois, you just went and played and had fun with your friends and hung out with them, and it was a game in the fullest sense of a game. I mean, you just loved playing sports, and that's what I hope younger kids don't ever forget, that even as you advance up levels, keep that love, because that's what keeps you going. And the higher you get, go to college, it's for scholarships. People are worried about scholarships, and then if you're fortunate to go to the next level with pros, then you're starting to make some money, and it's like, oh my gosh, can I make a living, or how can I do this? And then you start raising a family. So it definitely, the higher you got and the older I got, it starts becoming a little bit of a business, but it's still baseball, and there wasn't anything that I would have changed that happened in my career that I didn't like, so I wouldn't change anything.
Do you still talk to your ex-teammates?
There was about, I tell you, there's like 7 or 8 of us, 9, I'm just off my head, that were together in San Francisco for like 8-9 years all together, and had some pretty good runs, made it to a World Series one year, and were fortunate enough to play in the playoffs, I think 3 or 4 times, and we were all together. And when you're in that situation, I probably saw those guys more than I saw my own family, because you go almost every day, and you're in a clubhouse with them. And so, yes, there's those guys like Rob Nin, Rich Aurelia, Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent. I'm going to leave some guys out. Sean Estes. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I still talk to today, and obviously that we're very good friends.